a second and celebrate my dad. Dad, you were amazing, and it was pure, unconditional love, and the family thanks you so much. You were amazing, 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 and can't thank you enough for that. So she on July 27th, she had to go back to the hospital, and we figured, okay, here we go again. She's gonna battle. She's gonna fight. She's gonna get through somehow, some way. She always did, and she was there for about 4 days, and we saw something. We all saw something kind of independently from each other in her eyes that she wasn't coming home, and she was done fighting, and we reconciled that, and we figured that's okay, because it was such a struggle for her for so many years, and she ended up in hospice, and what transpired at hospice is something we'll all never forget. The time took a toll on my mom's body and her mind, but the essence of my mom was her heart and her soul and her spirit and her compassion. And those qualities were on display for all to see at hospice. She was unbelievable. My mom felt what she said, and she said what she felt. And the nurses would come in and change the name on the whiteboard, and my mom from her bed in hospice, slipping away, would still say something like, "Oh, you have such beautiful penmanship." Or a nurse would come in and say, "Oh, I love what you did with your hair." Or, "You have such a beautiful smile." Or they bring the food in, and, "Oh, it's always such a pleasure to see you." And they'd look at me, and I said, it's just, that's, I don't know what to tell you, So I would go out there about 6:30 every morning, and if you've been to the hospice facility out there, it's spectacular. And I'd bring a book, and I had a recliner brought into her room, and I just wanted to be there when she woke up her eyes, or just opened her eyes, because every day she opened her eyes, it was a gift. And I wanted to be there. And, "Hi, Ma, how you doing? How'd you sleep?" And we'd talk, and one time I gave her one of these, and when she woke up, and she gave it right back to me, and we both started laughing, and we'd just talk, and we'd get silly, and then they'd bring her breakfast, and I'd feed her breakfast, and I'd say, "Mom, look, you have pears. You like pears, Ma?" She said, "Oh, I love pears." I said, "Ma, don't you think pears are a really underrated fruit?" And she'd say, "Oh, absolutely." I said, "Ma, pear juice never really caught on." She said, "I don't get it. Why is that?" And we'd laugh, and it was just the two of us. And I said, "Ma, this is great. This is so much fun. Just the two of us. We're having such a nice time." And then I'd get the food out of the way, and I'd sit down next to the bed, and I'd hold her hand, and I'd get close to her face, and I'd look into her beautiful blue eyes, and I'd say, "Hey, Mom, thanks for being my mom." And she'd say, "Oh, thanks, honey." Or, "Mom, I'm your heartbeat." And she'd say, "Oh, thanks, honey." And she'd get a twinkle in her eye, and she'd smile. Or I'd say, "Mom, I am my mother's son." And she'd say, "Oh, thanks, honey." Or, "Mom, one of the greatest gifts that you gave me is every time I think about you, I'm going to smile." And she'd say, "Oh, thanks, honey." Now, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but I would tell her again in about 10 minutes, because she had dementia, and she would get the same sparkle, and it was great, But she was, like Catherine said, she was lucky. She was lucky. She would express herself. She would let it out. A lot of people don't. They don't. But that's the way she was. And there's one person I haven't mentioned since I've been up here, and it's my daughter Tessa, my mom's little buddy. And if I could ask a favor from everybody, is when you see Tessa, can you remind her about their special relationship? Because the thing about Tessa is she's only 6. And I don't remember what I remember when I was 6. But I don't want to let Meema's memory fade away from me. You can remind Tessa about how my mom always gave my dad a hard time with the medications, but she always took them for Nurse Tessa. And she would help my mom down the hallway with her walker, and Has anybody ever played Go Fish with somebody with dementia? Well, it kind of goes like this. Okay, Meema, it's your turn. Tessa, do you have a 5? No. Okay, Meema, it's your turn. Tessa, do you have a 5? No. Meema, your turn. Tessa, do you have a 5? Dad, Meema can't even play Go Fish. But they would sit in my mom's bed for hours at a time, laughing, and and I don't know who was getting more out of it. My dad smiling to hear my mom laughing, or my mom just cherishing the time with her daughter. And I think Catherine and I were kind of comparing notes last night. She wrote everything down, and I was laughing. I said, "You're going to talk about when she started at the post office. I'm going to talk about pears." You know, and it was all right from here. It was all right from here, and thank everybody for coming. Right now, I have the best seat in the house. I get to see all the faces. I feel all the love. I feel all my mom's love, and thank you all for coming. And Mom, thank you so much.
Tough acts to follow. Most of you guys knew my grandmother long before I was even born, so there's not much I can tell you that you don't already know. I can tell you that she had a smile that could light up any room, an unrivaled lust for life, and a thoughtful, warm, and engaging soul, but you already know that. I could tell you about her years at the post office, responding to letters to Santa, or, the time she sent Don Imus an express mail so she didn't have to wait in line at RJ Julia. But we already touched on that, and a lot of you probably already knew that. I could tell you that she was adored by her high school sweetheart, children, and grandchildren every single day of her life. But you already know that because all of you adored her too. What I really want to emphasize is how lucky we are to have had her in our lives. Even on a somber day like today, it seems inapt to spend too much time lamenting a life that was so vivacious and vibrant. I know if she was here right now, she'd probably be whispering to whoever was next to her that she can't wait for this thing to be over so she can go to the party afterward. So instead of mourning a life that's lost, let's celebrate a gift that will live on as long as we're still on this earth. She'll live on in her son's passion, in her daughter's moxie, in her granddaughter's contagious laughter, and in her grandson's striking good looks. More than that, she'll live on in each and every one of us, even if it's just a subtle memory here or there, or a subconscious imprint. After all, the people that we spend these precious fleeting moments with help mold our lives and define our legacies long after we're gone. And I think it's safe to say that having Mary Ellen Stoddard Gebauer in our lives was truly a blessing that we'll continue to benefit from. So let's save the grieving for another day and celebrate a life well lived that we're fortunate to be a part of. And let's celebrate each other, because I know Meema wouldn't have wanted to have it any other way. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for being here today to share this special day with us, and God bless all of you guys.